Hello, all. Sitting here in my thoughts, so excuse me for rambling. I suffer from severe depression, and ever since I was a young boy, I always try to get to the core of things. Why is this thing this way? So I started asking myself a lot of questions. Why are you depressed? Why? You have nearly everything that you could ever possibly want, material possession wise. There are some things that I do want or need, whatever, but I think I'm doing pretty well for myself. And that is when comparing myself to a lot of other people. Not trying to brag, it just is what it is. So, why am I depressed? I think the answer is very common amongst the people. I am depressed because subconsciously I know that I was born into a world where I have to endlessly grind until I die. Sorry, YouTube. And as a man in America, I don't really get the things that I want in life, like a wife, kids, economically, a house, working a job that fulfills you even if you don't like it by at least climbing in it. Most places don't want you to climb, they want you to stay in the same position. So, dealing with all this, you start to ask, what is the point of this all? Majority of us are working so much to make money, to make ends meet, to get our bills paid. And month after month, year after year, it just feels like nothing is ever enough. Everything gets more expensive. The rate of pay does not even increase. So then you have to work more hours, or you have to try to find multiple streams of income. So you have less time to live life. A lot of us are shackled to our locations, can't really travel freely. Even if you had the money to do it as much as you wanted, realistically, before the economy started tanking, can't do it because you have to be at work Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever your week starts. And due to that, a lot of us can't even really take a lot of vacation times. So you can't really live the way that you want. Everything is so expensive, and you grind and grind and grind as a man, and yet you don't really get reward for it. And don't get me wrong, as a man, you're not supposed to want a reward. You're supposed to just do. Man is always just supposed to just do. Being a man is a very thankless job. Of course, I don't mean in regards to success. I mean the everyday man, the average Joe. Unless you're excelling in your position at work to the point where you're forcing enough to move up, you're not appreciated. And then there's the women. I love women. I do not like hoes. 304. That's for my own personal reason. But what I'm about to say goes for both genders. People, as people get older, people change. As for women, and this goes for both men and women. So I'm not trying to come off sexist, but I only date women, so I will be speaking on that from a straight man's perspective. As people grow, people change. With change, sometimes that causes you to grow apart. So that is exactly why marriages and families do not last or stick together. I was raised by my grandparents. My mother is my best friend. She was always in my life. So she played a great hand in raising me. She's an amazing woman. So, not trying to downplay her contribution. She got me my original PlayStation and basically spoiled me as well. So, yeah. I was able to see how the generation before my mom's generation loved each other. I can count on one hand the amount of time I saw my grandmother argue with my grandfather and vice versa. Not to say everything was perfect, but I'm saying I didn't see it. I didn't hear it, but only a few times. I always wanted that kind of connection with somebody, mutual respect, where we don't disrespect each other in front of other people and try our hardest not to do so behind closed doors as well. But even the best relationships have this kind of time where it's just tested in the most volatile ways. Sink or swim, it is what it is. And a lot of it's thinking. I know I'm not a perfect person, but I do try to put my best foot forward, especially in all my relationships that I've ever been in. Still, you can check off pretty much all of our boxes in our mind of you being a great partner, and it still not be enough. So yeah, some families do stick together, some marriages do last. The problem that I have is that it's far too common for neither to last. With that being said, family, long-term relationships is off the table for most men. Realizing all of this, realizing all of what I just said, that is when the depression will set in. At first is anger. You know, you're not angry at women or anything, even though you may voice your disappointments. But deep down, you're more angry at yourself. You're more angry at yourself for feeling that way. So it becomes like a web of borderline self-hate. And that is why I am particularly depressed. I realized this at a young age. I was actually cool with the grind. I was like, okay, I'll grind and then, I'll get me a wife and I get me a family, and no, it didn't happen like that. And people be like, yeah, you're still have time. I'm just gonna say this, at my trajectory, I'm lucky to see grandkids. Like lucky. And it has nothing to do with sickness, thankfully. It has all to do with age. Then surely you can grind for material possessions. Fortunately for me, I was never really materialistic. I am the type that I can just wear Adidas and be cool on a day-to-day basis. I never really cared for like the big name brands like Gucci and all that. I might have actually wrote songs saying I was wearing that stuff or wanted to wear it, but it was just songs. Like it was just me just rapping. But I've never cared about designer clothes. I never cared about having chains. I'll be honest with y'all, I usually clothes shop every 2-3 years. But what about hobbies? You have hobbies? I'm a gamer. I make YouTube videos. I like working out. That's pretty much it. Why even gonna just say YouTube videos? I'm going to say content. I have everything I need to create YouTube videos. I have a very decent mic. I ain't gonna disclose how much I paid for it. Really, it's none of your business, respectfully. I have a new laptop that's less than 2 years old, still running strong because I only use it for editing videos and capturing gameplay. I do have some games on here though. I have every gaming console that I ever wanted, and then I have nearly every game that I want that's out right now. There are a few games that I do want that I don't have. I still have to have time to play the ones that I do have. Also, I am very cheap, so I don't really like paying full price for video games. I wait for a discount, a steep discount. I thought about getting a house, grinding for a house, but living by myself in a house is not ideal. I'll be honest with y'all, I don't like mowing the lawn. I don't take pleasure in doing it. It is very tedious. When I was a teen, I was forced to mow like this big ass yard that we had. I kid you not, it took me over 2 hours to mow just the backyard. That's how big the yard was. Ridiculous. And then my best friend, he has issues with his house that flare up randomly where he just has to shell out thousands of dollars out of nowhere, or else like his living condition is fucked. And then it's the fact that after you pay off the house, you still have to do these bullshit property taxes. It's almost like you don't even own the house. So yeah, I would be inclined to grind for the house if I was with somebody or if I had like a child or something. But since it is just me, I would rather just stay in an apartment or eventually a condo. It makes no sense for single men to have homes. That's just my opinion. If you're a single man with a home, more power to you. In all the respect, I don't want to do all the upkeep on my own. And when I say that, I don't mean I want, basically, if I was with somebody, I want to be able to fall back on them if we got in hard times. So like if we in like hard times for whatever reason and something flares up in the house and you had the money, just take care of it, because I would have did it in a split second. That type shit. Anything can happen. You can have multiple streams of income, but that shit can get snatched from you. So you have to be aware of that. So if I'm not grinding for materialism, then what would I be grinding for? For success? Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm doing right now with this channel, hoping to grow a little bit, you feel me? Think I'm doing okay. Right now I'm grinding for a relocation at least, but after that, what is there? It would just be a survival thing. I'm going to work to survive. I'm doing this just to survive, and that just doesn't seem like a happy life. And that's where the depression sets in and just does not end. Realizing all these things are against you as a man.